I'm just finishing off some of the bits and pieces on the RD350, and one of the things is I've lost the brake lid. I was refurbishing it and it's somewhere in this garage, but I have no idea where it is, and I could spend a long time trying to find it. They do make new versions of these, but they don't have the Yamaha embossed into it. So I do have this one, which is an old one, which I was gonna service and sell on, but the guy's binned the bike, you can see that, and he's done this damage here. So what I'm going to do is try and repair this so it's good enough to go on the bike, and I thought I'd just do this video about how to do that. So first of all, I'm going to clean it up as best I can before we put on what will be a plastic steel, most likely LC. Now the question is how to put the plastic steel on, because if I just run it along here, now if you use things like like car body filler and all that, it'll definitely bond to that, there'll be no issue. But I'm just a bit nervous that, you see there, the lip's gone. I'm a bit nervous that the bond may come off and you may lose brake fluid, and that's obviously not acceptable to do that type of repair. If you do this with metal, the metal is going to be as strong as the original parent metal, so long as you can get it to key in. So how I might do it is actually drill some holes just at different angles, and then just force the plastic steel into those holes along with the upper surface as well, and that should make a nice keying surface. I've actually done this before on a much bigger scale, really successfully. Never done anything this small, so let's give it a bash. So first of all, cleaning. So all I'm going to use to clean it is initially a wire brush, just to get the oxidized metal off. I'll edit this video. Get out of the way. This is starting to look a bit worse for wear. I've got to build an engine on this next, so it'll all have to be thoroughly cleaned after I've done this. I mean, as I say, you can just buy a modern replacement copy, but you know, if you're going to do a bike, you may as well try. For something as simple as doing this, you may as well try and repair it, mightn't you? I've got no doubt as soon as I've done this, the one that I've lost will just miraculously appear in front of me. So now I'm going to get the paint off. Now I can just use a paint stripper, but I'll be honest with you, when you've got really small recesses like this, it's really, I find it difficult to actually make sure you've got everything off, and when you subsequently paint it, you just get reactions all the time. So I'm not going to use paint, I'm actually going to just mechanically remove it, you know, basically scrape it off. Just obviously what you don't want to do though is to roughen the surface so it becomes obvious that's what you've done. But let's give it a try. Gosh, that's hard. Well, I do have a water-based, the truth being known, most of them are water-based now, paint stripper, which is surprisingly good on powder coat, because most paint strippers won't touch a powder coat, but this stuff does, strips powder coat really well. So let me just give that a try. Otherwise, see, I'm just worried about, see, if I dig in, I'm going to leave a scratch and you'll never get it out, not in a million years. Right, so let's go and get my paint stripper. So this is the stuff I use. It's alright, I don't think it's particularly cheap, but it seems to work. This is quite old now, this stuff, so it's separating out, unfortunately. Obviously, if you're going to use this stuff, make sure you're wearing proper PPE, because it will be aggressive on your skin, got no doubt about that. So as always, what you do is you put it on, leave it, that should hopefully cure, right, and then you put another coat on top which will actually lift the paint. So about 15 minutes normally between coats. Maybe all the ones I've done were refurbished and painted, I don't know. But yeah, the paint stripper didn't touch it, didn't come close. And I'm hitting this with my Dremel and it's struggling. Which ways about, it's harder than powder coat. Good coating, really good coating.
Go ahead. I should first have to make sure that you are not armed. As you wish.
Looking at that, I think that may be too small. I may be being a little bit. I'll be struggling to actually get the plastic steel into that, so let's just go up a size. Now we're cooking on gas.
You have to forgive me for not answering that question.
So you can see I'm just drilling at different angles here.
So you're not hiring me to do any murder?
I confidently expect the greatest mutual benefit from our association.
That's what plastic steel looks like. You haven't seen it before. So there's a DevCon which I don't know if I've got any.
That's good.
It's so expensive though, DevCon. If I've got some though, I'd use that.
Helping. If I'm peddling my loyalty, why shouldn't I let it go to the highest bidder?
I've given you all the money I have.
I might have some, but I'll spend hours looking for it. So this is plastic steel. It's basically the same stuff, except in a bit more easier carried type. So I need to cut off enough to do.
Christ, there's no sense in this. I don't care what kind of tricks you're up to, but I gotta have something to show me that you know what you're
Wow.
doing.
Can't you trust me just a little longer?
How much is a little? And why are you waiting?
I must talk to Joe Cairo.
You can see him tonight.
Talk about blunt.
Get him on the phone, Velvet.
He can't come here.
Take off the outer.
Outside, in the shop doorway.
And all you do is you just knead it together
Tell me around town.
until it becomes a consistent colour.
Well, come in. There's no use standing.
It's so much easier when it's warm to do this. Ripping my gloves. I don't think it's particularly harmful, this stuff, but as always, once you've used it, especially if this has happened, just make sure you wash your hands.
Delighted to see you again,
Fact.
Miss O'Shaughnessy.
These are just ripping up. These are my cheap ones. I do have better ones there. But you go through so many of these, it's really expensive if you're a
I'm
hobbyist.
quite prepared to give you this money at, say, 10:30 in the morning. Would that suit you?
But I haven't got the Falcon.
Then why?
I'll have it in a week at the most, though.
Maltese Falcon.
Where Floyd hid it.
That's what that
You
is.
know what that
I
is?
think I do.
Put this back on because you're missing an exciting bit on the
Yeah, when you're strapped,
on the radio.
you like it.
Right, so as you knead it, it does get a bit more pliable. Okay, so now we can start putting it on. Okay, so it's best to be reasonably accurate with it. Not spot on, obviously, but reasonably accurate because you know you've got to take it off if you put it on. I've got far too much there.
That's what I pay you to play around with a spade. You got away with plenty, but you can't keep it up forever.
Stop me when you can.
That's what I'll do. There's talk going around that you and Archer's wife are cheating on him.
That sounds like something you thought of yourself.
The talk is, that's why he was put on the spot.
You oughtn't to try to pin more than one murder on me at a time. Your first idea that I knocked Thursby off because he killed Miles falls apart if you blame me for killing Miles too.
You haven't heard me say that you killed anybody. You're the one that keeps bringing that up.
I hope you got something better to do besides popping here.
So that's it on.
Don't pretend you don't know.
I'm just going to leave it for
All over town.
24 hours to go off. It actually goes off in about an hour, I think.
You can tell, gee, I said so.
It's all in German, but so 60 minutes, yeah, goes off. Working temperature minus 50 to 120 degrees C. Wow, good stuff. Like a lot of these things, like where you mix two things together to harden. I think it's exothermic. Is that what they call it? So it means it gets warm. Right, and you got to be with this stuff. It's not so bad. You can put it in my hand. It's not something. Got to be really careful with glass fibre. Not the stuff you seem to get for use at home doesn't seem to be too bad. But the stuff we used to have for putting on bandages onto pipes and stuff like that. When it was new, when you mixed it, you had around about 20 minutes to get the thing on before it was unusable. But after that 20 minutes ago, it used to get so hot, you couldn't have it. It would burn your hands, 100% burn your hands. It used to spit and everything. So just be really careful when you come to use this stuff. So now I'm going to go and give my hands a really good wash, okay? It's starting to go off now.
Tell me what happened.
Right. Okay, that's it finished. So a little bit of dremeling, a little bit of filing, a little bit of wet and dry, and it's not bad. So now what I've got to do is got to degrease it really well, and then I'm going to use Tough Black, I think it's called, by Simonez. I've used it before on, including brake calipers and things like this and other stuff which get brake fluid on it, and it does seem to be resistant. So that's it. So as I say, any minute now my other one's going to turn up. Right. Just gonna degrease it with a little bit of white spirit. So I thought about spraying it with Tough Black, but for whatever reason the paint I've got doesn't seem to have a lot of pigment in it. It just seems to be all solvent, or mostly solvent, and it's really rubbish, which is disappointing because I've used Tough Black for years. So I don't know whether it's not just a bad batch, but yeah, I'm going to try something different, see if that works. So this is just warming it up a little bit, obviously drying off the last of the white spirit as well, but it's just so cold in here at the moment. I need the paint to flow to get a good finish. And I'm going to paint it and see how we get on. I've had a lot of success doing this, but whether it'll repeat itself now, I just don't know. So you just need to see how the paint goes. You just need to see how the paint goes on. I used to own paint spraying businesses, and as one of the co-owners used to say, don't be like a Sunday, you know, do-it-yourself painter where you rattle can a repair and you just try and get it all in one spray. So you just spray and spray and spray and spray till it runs everywhere. Right, we'll leave that. So where you dick about with it, and because it's going off, you can kind of drag the paint in and end up with big hard points. But we'll leave it at that. So that's it finished. It's still a little bit soft, the paint, but I'll neaten that lettering up a little bit, but I think that's come out okay. That's a repair there, you can see a little bit. See there. But it's not bad. Yeah, quite happy with that. That'll do. So I'll just let it go a bit harder and I'll bang it back in the bike.